What if early retirement wasn't a dream for the rich, but a math problem any disciplined person could solve? Most Americans spend over 40 years working before freedom, but what if the next decade could change that math forever? Imagine this: a quiet Monday morning at Starbucks, watching others rush to work while your clock runs differently. That reality isn't luck, inheritance, or winning the lottery. It's the result of a system designed to make money work for you. People believe they need millions before they can stop working. But in truth, they only need a system that compounds. You already have the engine to financial freedom. You just haven't turned the key long enough for it to run. Before we dive in, comment your age or how long you've been investing. Let's see where your clock begins ticking. Stay until the end, because I'll show you the exact moment your money stops crawling and starts running on its own. Why do so many Americans, even careful savers, still find themselves working deep into their 60s or 70s? The answer isn't bad math. It's lost patience. The early years of investing feel painfully slow and discouraging. You give effort, discipline, sacrifice, and see almost nothing in return. It feels like pushing a car that refuses to start. Every paycheck disappears into an account that barely grows, and you start wondering if the whole idea even works. But here's the truth. Your system isn't broken, it's charging. Energy builds quietly before movement begins. Meet Elena, a 30-year-old teacher in Ohio who dreams of opening her own bookstore before she turns 45. For 4 years, she saved $600 each month, giving up vacations, eating out less, staying laser-focused. After all that effort, she checked her account. Just $25,000. It felt like a cruel joke. Her friends were buying homes, planning weddings, taking trips to Europe, and she was still counting every penny. One night, she almost stopped contributing, thinking, if I can't see progress, what's the point? But her money wasn't asleep. It was preparing. Compounding takes time before it starts moving on its own momentum. Wealth works like gravity. You don't see it move at first until suddenly everything starts rolling faster downhill. Then there's Marcus, an engineer from Seattle, who started investing early but quit after 5 years of small gains. A decade later, he revisited his numbers and realized he had stopped just 3 years before his first doubling cycle. Quitting early cost him 10 full years of freedom. The lost time compounded against him instead of for him. Most people never fail because the plan doesn't work. They fail because they interrupt it right before it begins to. Every dollar in those first years is like lifting a heavy weight. It doesn't move much, but it builds unseen strength. When you stay consistent long enough, your effort transfers to your capital. It starts working without your permission. That's the hidden bridge few cross. The moment labor turns into leverage. Think of it this way. Your early investing years aren't wasted. They're the ignition stage of financial acceleration. The frustration you feel right now isn't failure. It's the sound of your system warming up before takeoff. And once you cross that invisible line, the machine no longer needs your full push. It begins driving itself forward. Elena eventually stayed the course, and 5 years later, her balance tripled without changing her monthly savings. That moment changed her mindset forever. She realized wealth doesn't happen fast, it happens faithfully. The quiet years build the loud results later. Patience isn't waiting, it's continuing even when you can't see the finish line. Most people treat investing like sprinting, but true wealth is a marathon where slow is fast and quitting is costly. Your consistency is the compound interest on your discipline. It multiplies silently in the background. So the real danger isn't low returns, it's giving up before returns get the chance to multiply. When your effort feels invisible, remember, that's exactly when your momentum is forming. The phase that feels most discouraging is the one that matters most. It's the birth of exponential growth. The people who push through that silence are the ones who later say, it worked, but only after I stopped expecting it to. Money doesn't grow fast, it grows predictable. The secret is not in speed, but in staying through every cycle. There's a simple rule that turns compounding into a personal clock. It's called the Rule of 72. Divide 72 by your average return, and you'll know roughly how long it takes for your money to double. It's not magic, it's math. And once you understand the math, your future timeline becomes measurable, not mysterious. Let's say you're earning an average of 9% through a 401k or broad index fund. 72 divided by 9 equals 8 years, meaning your money doubles every 8 years, give or take. Start with $40,000, it becomes 80, then 160, then 320, then 640. The first doubling feels invisible. The second feels real. The third feels unstoppable. The first 8 years test your patience. The next 8 test your excitement. Each cycle you complete is another chunk of working life you'll never need to give away again. Here's Jasmine, a marketing analyst from Texas, who began investing $500 a month at 27. At 35, her balance sat around 70,000, solid but unspectacular. She thought, maybe this is as good as it gets, unaware that compounding was just starting to gain traction. Without changing her contributions, by 43, her account had crossed 150,000. By 51, it tripled again, over 300,000, purely from reinvested growth. The math never changed, only time did. That's the quiet magic people underestimate. Compounding isn't about chasing higher returns. It's about protecting your timeline from interruptions. The longer you let the engine run, the less effort you need to fuel it. Think of your portfolio as a marathon runner. It starts slow but never stops. That's why it always wins. You can't control the market's pace, but you can control when you start the race. Starting early gives you extra laps that no high return can replicate later. Every year you delay is a doubling cycle you permanently lose. The power of compounding isn't how fast money grows. It's how long it's allowed to grow without disruption. Imagine each cycle like a wave. Miss one and you spend years waiting for the next swell. The key is not to surf perfectly. It's to stay on the board until the wave carries you further than effort alone could. When Jasmine saw her second doubling, she realized the market was no longer the driver. Time was. The longer she held, the faster it seemed to move, even though her actions stayed the same. That's the compounding illusion. Growth appears slow until suddenly it feels exponential. People call it luck. It's not. It's the reward for staying invested through boredom and doubt. Your wealth doesn't explode one day. It accumulates quietly until it looks like it did. Compounding is the most loyal partner in finance. It rewards commitment, not perfection. It doesn't demand intelligence or prediction, only consistency and time. The danger isn't volatility, it's interruption. Pausing breaks the rhythm your money was finally starting to build. Missing even one cycle can cost you the difference between retiring at 45 or 60. You can recover lost money, but you can't recover lost time. Each dollar you invest today is a silent worker that never asks for a raise, never takes a weekend off. So treat your dollars like a growing team. Send more of them to work and never call them back early. The earlier you start, the more shifts they can complete before you ever think about stopping. Pause for 10 seconds. How many 8-year doubles could you realistically fit between now and your ideal retirement age? Your freedom isn't hidden in luck. It's ticking inside your timeline. You just have to start the clock. Saving alone will never buy back decades of freedom. Offense and defense together are what compress time. Offense means growing your income streams. Defense means locking in your lifestyle while income rises. Think of offense as acceleration and defense as traction. Without both, your wealth engine spins but never moves forward. Most Americans focus only on cutting coffee, while ignoring the real leverage, expanding their earning power. Offense is learning higher income skills, asking for raises, or building side ventures that multiply cash flow. If you earn $4,000 a month and save 10%, you'll invest $4,800 a year, respectable but slow. Increase that income to $8,000 and keep the same 10% rate. Your fuel instantly doubles every cycle. Every new dollar earned becomes an extra worker for your compounding factory, one that never sleeps or calls in sick. Yet offense alone fails if you keep spending everything you make. This is where defense saves the plan. Defense means freezing your lifestyle at a modest level, even as income climbs, capturing the growing gap for investments. It's tempting to celebrate each raise with a bigger car, a nicer apartment, or premium subscriptions that drain momentum. Lifestyle creep is the quiet killer of financial independence. It steals the very gap your freedom depends on. Imagine two friends. Alex earns $4,000, saves 10%. Jamie earns $10,000 but still lives on $4,000. After 10 years, Alex's account might reach $77,000, while Jamie's tops $190,000. Same decade, same discipline. Different outcome because Jamie played both offense and defense perfectly. To make defense automatic, redirect every raise or bonus straight into investments before it touches your spending account. Each dollar added becomes another employee in your wealth business, working shifts around the clock. Your job isn't to micromanage them. It's to keep hiring and never fire the ones who perform quietly. Think of your investment portfolio as a growing company. Your cash flow is the recruiting budget for new talent. Every extra worker shortens your path to financial freedom and multiplies your doubling cycles over time. Offense and defense together transform your savings into a high-performance engine that compounds without burnout. The formula is simple but rare. Expand income aggressively, maintain expenses ruthlessly, invest the difference relentlessly. Most people do the opposite. They expand spending first and invest leftovers later, wondering why the math never works. To stay on course, treat raises not as permission to spend more, but as permission to buy back your future faster. Freedom isn't built from cutting small joys. It's built from protecting the surplus that few notice they have. Each month you hold your lifestyle steady, your investment engine gains speed without additional effort. The reward for discipline today is optional work tomorrow. That's the real trade you're making. And once your offense and defense are balanced, it's time to structure the system that keeps running forever. Think of this next part as building a three-layer machine. Each layer has a role that keeps your wealth stable and alive. Layer 1 is growth, the engine that pushes your money beyond inflation and builds long-term wealth. Broad index funds, growth stocks, and selective tech or dividend reinvestment plans belong here as your primary drivers. Without growth assets, your money loses purchasing power quietly, shrinking your future behind the scenes. But growth alone is volatile. It rises fast and falls hard, forcing panic sales during downturns if unbalanced. That's why Layer 2 exists. Income producers like REITs, dividend stocks, and rental properties that pay you to wait. Every dividend check or rent payment acts as renewable fuel, sustaining the engine even in rough markets, i.e., the third layer is stability, bonds, cash reserves, or gold that act as shock absorbers when volatility hits hard. Think of this layer as your brakes. It doesn't make you go faster, but it prevents a crash when roads get slippery. Together, these three layers, growth, income, stability, form a complete ecosystem, each protecting the others. Remove one layer and your system wobbles. Balance them, and the entire structure compounds through every cycle. Consider Maya, a nurse from Denver, who built her portfolio using this exact balance over 12 steady years. She kept 60% in index funds, 25% in income assets, 15% in stability, and never missed a month. During the 2020 crash, while others panicked, her income layer paid dividends that covered all her bills. She didn't sell a single share. Instead, she reinvested and watched her net worth climb past $500,000. Her success wasn't timing, it was structure. Systems survive storms, guesses don't. Another overlooked safeguard is currency diversification, owning a slice of assets beyond your home economy. When one currency weakens, another offsets the loss, giving your portfolio resilience across global cycles. The three-layer model is your long-term armor. It doesn't promise fireworks, but it guarantees endurance. Growth is your engine, income your fuel, stability your control panel, each vital to long-distance freedom. Once the structure stands, the next principle keeps it alive even after financial independence begins. Reinvest at least 10 to 20% of your passive income so the system continues to outpace inflation. Think of it as leaving the engine idling gently. It keeps the vehicle warm and ready for any economic weather. Even after reaching your target, this reinvestment habit extends the life of your wealth indefinitely. It's the difference between temporary success and generational stability. Remember, money that stops growing starts shrinking. Motion is the oxygen of wealth. By designing your financial machine this way, compounding doesn't work by accident, it works by architecture. But the real test isn't building it, it's resisting the urge to interrupt it once it's running smoothly. The hardest part isn't the math, it's the boredom between milestones when progress feels invisible again. That's where people sabotage their own success, changing strategies mid-race, chasing trends, or doubting steady progress. Patience is the cost of admission for exponential growth. Without it, the curve never has time to bend upward. The investors who win aren't the smartest. They're the most consistent, the ones who stay through storms. Freedom comes quietly, not with a jackpot, but with compounding interest that outpaces your need to earn. So here's your roadmap in plain English. Start early, grow income, lock expenses, and build a three-layer portfolio. Then reinvest a slice of your passive income forever, so your system keeps running even while you rest. Every dollar you invest today is a silent worker that never complains, never calls in sick, never needs motivation. Let them work while you live. That's the true meaning of making money work for you. If you're listening right now, calculate how much you can invest monthly without changing your lifestyle. Treat it as a 12-month experiment. Commit every raise, bonus, or side hustle dollar directly into investments. By next year, you'll see the first visible results. By year 5, you'll feel the system breathing on its own. The timeline to freedom isn't mystical, it's mechanical. You feed the system, and time does the rest. Freedom doesn't appear suddenly. It grows quietly behind years of consistency and calm decisions. One day you'll open your account and realize your returns outweigh your contributions. That's your tipping point. When that happens, every dollar becomes proof that patience was never wasted time, it was compounded time. From that moment forward, your wealth works harder than you ever could, and your labor becomes optional. That's the day you finally understand. Financial independence isn't about quitting work. It's about reclaiming choice. You'll choose what to work on, when to rest, and how to spend the hours once sold to necessity. The sooner you start, the more hours you buy back later. Every delay sells another piece of your time cheap. Freedom isn't built in massive leaps. It's built in quiet deposits that turn into decades reclaimed. The math is simple, but the courage to follow it through is rare. So stay the course. Keep your system alive even when it feels motionless, because growth hides behind stillness. If this breakdown made the path clearer, hit like, subscribe, and drop your monthly investable amount in the comments. You might inspire someone else to start their clock today, and that ripple could buy both of you years of freedom. The journey to financial independence isn't about luck. It's about structure, patience, and belief that time multiplies value. Each contribution you make is a vote for your future self, and the tally gets bigger with every cycle. Start the engine, trust the math, and let your dollars drive while you steer calmly toward freedom. 10 years from now, you'll look back and realize that the hardest part wasn't starting, it was believing long enough to finish. Picture your life a decade from now, waking up without an alarm clock because your investments quietly cover your expenses. You make coffee slowly, not rushing to beat traffic, and realize the system you built now runs on autopilot. That's not fantasy, it's the mathematical reward of consistency and calm patience, multiplied through time. Your coworkers may still be trading hours for income while your dollars generate their own paychecks daily. Compounding transforms anxiety into autonomy. It's not about money anymore. It's about control over your minutes. The earlier you begin, the sooner your minutes become yours again, instead of rented to someone else's schedule. That's why your timeline is sacred. Protect it like an asset, because it truly is one. The wealthiest people aren't those with the biggest portfolios. They're the ones who mastered time allocation. Time is the original currency. Investing is how you buy it back, one compound cycle at a time. Think of every dollar like a small seed. You plant it once, and it keeps growing even when you rest. The garden doesn't flourish overnight, but seasons later, you harvest a forest born from quiet beginnings. Each habit you form today waters that forest. Each skipped impulse purchase feeds its roots deeper. Your financial soil is built from patience, not predictions, and consistency is the sunlight that powers it. If markets dip, don't panic. Storms prune weak branches, but strong systems keep growing underneath. The truth is, volatility isn't your enemy. It's the tool that tests your conviction and rewards your steadiness. Remember Maya, the nurse from Denver? Her portfolio grew not because markets were perfect, but because she stayed steady. Each time fear rose, she reviewed her plan instead of reacting to headlines, and that made all the difference. When others sold in panic, she quietly reinvested dividends and kept her compounding engine humming. That discipline turned 12 ordinary years into $500,000 of freedom-fueled capital. If you can't control the wind, adjust the sails. Diversify smartly and stay in motion no matter what season comes. Your system's success depends less on perfect timing and more on never pulling the plug during turbulence. Markets reward endurance, not excitement. The boring investors usually end up the wealthiest ones in the room. That's because they understand wealth isn't about noise. It's about quiet momentum that never stops moving forward. The next time you feel tempted to pause contributions, picture your freedom clock freezing mid-tick. Every pause delays the moment your portfolio overtakes your paycheck, the exact goal you started for. Don't rob your future self of the compounding you've already earned. Keep the rhythm alive through consistency. The most powerful part of compounding is invisible progress. It's the calm between milestones that builds the curve. You won't notice growth day to day, but 10 years later, the line you drew turns into an upward arc. That curve is the story of patience winning against impulsiveness, a graph of trust rewarded. Let your money evolve the way nature does, slow, steady, and unstoppable when given enough seasons. Stop checking results daily. Focus instead on time in the market, not timing the market. No genius can outsmart compound time. Even modest investors win if they refuse to quit the race. Think of your future like a movie already written. The only way to see the ending is to stay for the credits. Your role is simple. Show up, stay consistent, and let time do its quiet editing behind the scenes. At some point, the line between effort and ease disappears. You're no longer pushing, you're gliding. That's the shift where money becomes servant, not master. The clock now works for you, not against you. The satisfaction isn't just financial, it's emotional freedom, the ability to choose purpose over pressure. Picture deciding to work because you want to, not because rent demands it. That's true independence. And when others ask how you did it, you'll smile and say, I trusted time more than impulse. Because freedom isn't loud, it's silent mornings, calm confidence, and the power to walk away gracefully. It's knowing your money earns while you sleep, while others still trade sleep for earnings. Your journey might feel ordinary now, but extraordinary results hide inside ordinary habits done relentlessly. Every deposit, every automated investment, every steady paycheck contribution builds invisible equity in your freedom. Don't underestimate quiet progress. Compounding loves routine more than brilliance. Even average investors become legends if they refuse to interrupt what's already working. You don't need to outsmart the system, you just need to outlast your own doubts. The next 10 years will pass whether you invest or not. The difference is who owns your time at the end. You can either watch the decade disappear or let it build the foundation of your independence. Start small, start simple, but start now. The first step begins the clock, and every tick compounds your courage. Treat every month like a brick, every year like a wall. Soon you'll be standing inside a fortress of freedom. Don't let uncertainty steal your momentum. The future always rewards those who move despite hesitation. Every moment you stay invested, you're buying back pieces of tomorrow's peace. And when that peace finally arrives, it won't feel like luck. It will feel like justice for your patience. Freedom doesn't ask for permission. It waits quietly for those who plan, act, and persist long enough to earn it. So start your engine today, keep your foot steady, and let the next decade carry you toward the life you've already designed.